Rise and shine, it's a brand new day. Ken and Ken take the stage, ready to play. Weekdays at 10, the cars and the scene. Coffee in hand, they're living the dream. Aggression in the voice, got the whole town awake. Bringing fire to the mic, make no mistake. Shows in the corner, spitting out facts. Dropping truth bombs, ain't holding back. Ken and Ken in the morning, feel the heat. From 10 a.m. CST, can take a seat. We live and loud, that break in the mind. Light up your speakers, crank up the sound. They're talking about life upside down. Opinions exploding like a sonic blast. In the studio, they're built to last. With passion and grit, they engage and ignite. Every single week, they're all force can fight. From sports to politics,
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Ken and Ken in the morning. And good morning, Ken. Good morning, Broski. Good morning, Fred in the comments. Boy, everyone's coming in here this morning. Ken, is there disarray or some big news coming out of Green Bay?
There is some big news coming out of Green Bay. Last night and this morning, rumors have been going absolutely nuts that LaFleur is going to end up getting traded. That this is why how they were working on a contract extension took so long, and people were speculating about it. You even had Ian Rappaport saying something about it, like, this is taking a lot longer than it should. There's something more here, and now we're starting to hear that he might get traded. And this would not even be the first time the Packers have traded a head coach. We had traded Mike Holmgren for a second-round pick to the Seahawks. So we might be getting some major news here in the coming days.
Who are they saying he's getting traded to?
There hasn't been anything besides some speculation that he could go to either Miami, which seems to be what's getting brought up the most, because of the GM they just hired. And then there's talks that he could be going to Pittsburgh.
See, I was going to say Pittsburgh actually makes a very intriguing prospect.
And especially with the rave reviews that Rodgers just gave him, that might be a way for Pittsburgh to keep Rodgers if they wanted to keep him. And no, we ain't taking one of them. No Chicago Bears coaches. Right now, with this being nothing but rumors, I am going to live in full hopium and say, give me John Gruden. But reality-wise, give me Stefanski, Harbaugh, or even Mike McDonald.
Well, I mean, that's the other tricky piece of that there, okay? This is where I'm going to rain on the hopium parade in Green Bay. So you want to trade LaFleur and get Harbaugh. Cool. They've had no official contact with Harbaugh or Stefanski, or any other coach that's been reported. So, could it possibly be happening behind closed doors and we not know? Sure. But in this day and age of everyone getting scoops and knowing who's talking to who in the league, yeah, okay.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because it was either Ian Rappaport or whoever the fuck the other guy is, the little scrawny one. Well, I know they're both scrawny. What would you say?
Schefter.
Okay, Schefter. Oh, yeah, Schefter. There we go. I was drawing a blank on his name. He was saying if for some reason the Green Bay job,
Schefter.
Yep. If some reason the Green Bay job does become available, that job automatically rises to the top of the coaching candidates for this cycle.
No, it doesn't. I think Baltimore is still ahead of Green Bay.
Well,
Sorry, I do.
Well, seeing as how they said that, I'm not going to argue with the guys plugged right into the NFL.
Like Harbaugh, I've heard stuff, and Fred says it too.
Yes, he does.
Harbaugh heard it. Harbaugh, hey, Fred heard that from us yesterday when I said it. Harbaugh has a vacation home in the UP of Michigan. I mentioned that yesterday. There's that. Obviously, Harbaugh won't be going back to the Ravens, so that takes off the board for him. But for everyone else, the Ravens is probably the job, or one of the jobs. The Packers, though, I would agree, would be at the top towards the top of that heap. Like it would be rather, would you rather go to Green Bay or Tennessee? Okay, that's obvious. You'd probably rather go to Green Bay than Tennessee if you're a head coaching candidate. But like Atlanta, that's a really good job still because they've got a lot to work with. Baltimore's a really good job. You know what? And you know what's another really good job is not potential spam on my phone, but Pittsburgh.
Well, I'm glad that Fred here recognizes the genius of everybody on this podcast. Thank you for being so astute, Fred.
Thank you, Fred. And JD, I have a wife who's playing with my grandkid right now until I'm done with the show. Then I'll go play with the grandkid. So yeah, I mean,
yeah. And I just had my girlfriend leave for work, so.
And Joe's married with kids now. Broski, no, you got a girlfriend.
Broski's engaged, dude.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, every one of us are locked up here
because we happen to have time. Well, wait a minute, hold on a second. Because some of us are retired. Don't hate. Just we have time to look.
I don't think that was a hate. Is so much a fishing line.
I know, but we can fish.
Not interested.
I can fish from my private dock right here by my house and go get the fish if I want.
And I have quite the territorial girlfriend, so.
And I just don't like.
Real quick, speaking of the coaching, Mike Tomlin does not plan to coach in 2026. So basically, this was the thing with the Tomlin resignation, right? People are like, well, he's got 1 year in his contract. If he goes anywhere,
wait, hold on. I think we gotta have Joe and Fred fight for who gets put on the title.
Oh, so Tomlin, has 1 year in the contract, and Neil's brought. But yeah, if he wants to coach somewhere, they have to make a trade. Well, it came out last night. Tomlin plans on taking the year off. So if Tomlin does come back to coaching, sorry, Pittsburgh, you get nothing.
Wait, hold on. Wouldn't that still mean even if he takes a year off that he would still be under contract? Because didn't that happen with Sean Payton?
Mm-hmm.
Payton's contract wasn't fully up yet when he went back to coaching.
No, he still had time remaining, like Tomlin still has time remaining.
Right,
yeah,
but no,
he had to compensate him.
He had more time. He had more time. I respect Joe. You could have. He had more time left on his old contract than Tomlin did. He had more than a year left. He had like 2 or 3 years left on his contract when he retired. So, if Tomlin wants to come back in a year, they're scot-free. So right now, he said he's not planning on taking any interviews. So it looks like he may go the look at. I mean, the dude was the head coach there for 19 years. I wouldn't blame him to not coach anymore, to be honest with you. I mean, he might just do what his predecessor did and go into TV and make lots of money to not have a stressful life. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily rocket science, right? I mean, folks just make the assumption, they're going to go back to being coaches. Well, maybe not.
Okay, yeah. Ken is right. He had 3 years remaining and not 1.
Well, right. That's why I said it, because I already knew.
Hey, like each and every one of us hasn't been wrong and proven wrong on this show.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but I actually knew this. I mean, look, he may go to CBS or something like that because the money is. Look, there's a reason some of these guys don't go back to coaching. I mean, they can still coach. Like Cowher, could still coach, but the money's easy on TV. What do you got to do? Be at the studio every Sunday. That's it. No meetings. I mean, you do some meetings, but not like the stress level goes from here to here. They get. Oh wait, it's like us, except they get paid. Our stress level doing this show is like next to nothing. We just show up and talk about football and what we know and love. Well, that's all Mike Tomlin would have to do. No more having the scheming. No more having to answer to the media because, well, he would be the media. I mean, I would not be surprised if he does not coach. I would not be surprised.
I was gonna say he's made decent enough money. He's
Yeah.
already has a Super Bowl on his resume. He's done damn near everything besides repeat the Super Bowl. So if I'm him, I'd think about it too.
You
And
know,
he's probably at that point too, where he's like, after 19 years, you probably got a little bit of burnout, as most people get in any career field. After a certain amount of time, you get a little bit of a burnout, and he's in a position where he can be like, "Hey, Joe, I'm going to take a year off and see if I really miss this, and then I'm going to decide if I want to come back." I mean, who wouldn't love to be in that kind of position? He is, so why not take full advantage of it, right?
yeah. But one thing I will say is, like, the only thing better than having a Super Bowl ring,
Having two.
having 2 Super Bowl rings. So I definitely think Tomlin is the type of guy who he may take a year off and then come back and try to find his opportunity. But I think he wants one more. He seems like the kind of guy that's not going to stand on, like, oh, well, I had to step down because I couldn't win the big one. Like, I don't think he wants that to be the narrative about his career. So,
Well, I mean, also he's in a position where he can kind of pick and choose. 'Cause if he does decide to come back, he'll pretty much have choice to go where he wants to go in the coaching market, right? I mean,
Right.
for the most parts, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I know, Fred. I mean, I don't have a Super Bowl ring that I've won. I've got one. I'm looking at it. It's but not that I've actually won.
yeah, I don't have one
hopefully
either. I could just, it's pretty easy to imagine that if you have one, the only thing better is having 2.
I mean,
It's
but
like,
Oh no, you even give me one, I'm gonna be that annoying asshole with it that's just wearing it all the fucking time. Two is
But-
nice, but one's good enough.
if you're Tomlin, though, you can kind of pick your shot, and that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, Joe, you might be right. He might want another one, but at the same time, man, you got to figure, dude, 19 years of being a head coach for an organization. There's got to be there's got to be you got to there's a little workplace burnout, and so he's in a position where he can just take a year off and reset and be like,
and
let me
I
see-
agree.
and let me see if I really miss this or don't. Like, do I miss doing this day in and day out, or am I happier doing something else? And he can actually, and then if he decides, you know what, I want to come back, he knows that if he takes the year off, the following year, whatever coaching positions are available, he'll be the guy
Mhm.
that people are looking for. That's going to be number one on everyone's list. So he's I mean, who wouldn't want to be in his situation, so to speak? I mean, you can go pretty much anywhere. And if you want, let's say, I don't know, who knows what's going to happen next year, what coaching vacancies are going to be there. Maybe Miami is there again. I don't know. I mean, hell, it seems like a third of the league canned their coaches this year. Maybe Green Bay opens up next year. And he goes, "Ooh, well, maybe I want to go to Green Bay after they fire."
Shit, maybe it
LaFleur.
opens this year.
I was just going to say,
look, he's got 1 year in his contract. If they don't extend it and they say, "Hey, we're done with you after the year," maybe or maybe he just waits to see what Reed's going to do in KC if he retires after next year and he's like, "Hi guys, I'm here. I'm next." I mean,
or let me just throw this out there because I don't think it's ever been done before. Green Bay and Pittsburgh just goes coach for coach swap. Like, you give us Tomlin, we give you LaFleur, and like, it's a win-win if you think about it. The Packer fans want to get rid of LaFleur. The Steeler fans want to get rid of Tomlin. I think Mike Tomlin to the Packers, like, you finally give Tomlin the elite quarterback at least the top 10 quarterback that he's always needed. You still have Halfley as your DC for right now, but
Yeah, what it seems like is Halfley's almost guaranteed to be
Right.
gone this year.
but I said you still have him for right now. Who knows, man? Maybe I mean, think about it. If you're Halfley and you're a DC, right? Like, now all of a sudden Tomlin comes in, you're not even going to at least consider maybe staying and trying to win a ring with Tomlin. Because I'll tell you what, being a Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator is a surefire way to get yourself a head coaching job.
Yeah, and to me, if you paired him with a damn good offensive coordinator, then yes. But just Tomlin alone doesn't move the needle enough for me.
I mean, I get it, but look, dude, if I'm Tomlin, I'll tell Jordan Love, dude, you run the fucking offense. I don't care. Like, you know what I mean?
You know, I actually wouldn't be against that because when we have seen Love audible
love
at the end of this year, that offense was humming.
Because
Dude.
you know what, though? Even look at the playoff game. Dude, how many times did Jordan Love audible out in the second half? He audibled out a lot. I mean, look at this is the thing I love about this whole offensive minded head coach quarterback thing, right? And like LaFleur, oh my God, he got so predictable. Dude, look how many times like Love audibled out. Love audibled out a lot Saturday. A lot Saturday. And
Yeah,
I get it.
most
Sometimes they
of that was
audible
what
out
worked.
and it works great. Sometimes they audible out, it works great. But sometimes, a lot of times they audible out and you're like, maybe they should have gone with the play that was actually called, whatever that was. I mean, look it. Was Saturday's lack of offensive creativity totally on LaFleur? No. It was on Jordan Love, too, who audibled out of a lot of plays. So, and look, LaFleur's going to catch the flack because he's the head coach and the buck stops there.
Mhm.
Got it. But you know what? People aren't saying it, but there's a lot of kill, a lot of audibling. Love audibled a lot of plays in Saturday's game. And look at when you get these better quarterbacks, these, Loves, Allens, Williams, even Purdy gets it now. They get to audible a lot of plays after they show command of the offense. So how much of that was on LaFleur? I mean, people look at it's funny because we never talk about this with these offensive minded coaches who have good quarterbacks. And then they get fired and the new coach comes in and nothing changes. Why? Well, the quarterback's still there. The quarterback is still audibling plays because you don't want to tell them, Joe, you can't audible anymore when I'm the new head coach, right? Because now it's your diva quarterback who's a superstar.
You know what plays?
But I also think that a lot of those audibles were probably called screens, and Jordan Love's like, look, dude, we're not throwing any more fucking screens. Like,
You want to know what a lot of those non-audible calls were? They were the
screens?
they were the halfback draw from the shotgun on 1st and 10. He didn't audible out of them.
I mean, we don't know that for fact what he actually audibled out of because we don't know what the original play call was.
No, I'm saying the
overall arching point there is this: these quarterbacks audible a lot of plays, and it never gets talked about. It always gets talked about. Well, the coach, they're getting flat. They're not calling good plays. Dude, are you guys forgetting that the quarterbacks are audibling that plays all the time? And we don't know what the coaches are actually calling because we'll never find out. We don't hear the headset. We don't know that LaFleur could have had a go route called. And Jordan didn't like, I don't like the way the coverage looks. I'm going to audible out to a halfback option or something else. Who knows? That go route might have worked. Maybe LaFleur actually saw something and knew something that the quarterback on the field didn't. It happens all the time with all coaches and quarterbacks, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And you don't really talk about it much because you don't want to throw your quarterback under the bus, right? And the coaches take the heat rounds for it. So, I mean, I don't know, man. It's hard. It's hard to say because LaFleur, was he predictable? I don't know. As much as Love changed the play, maybe Love was predictable. So that's what I'm saying. Like, Ken, when you say, well, I'd be happy to let Love call the game. That's why I say this because I'm like, great. If he keeps calling like all the audibles he did in the Bears game, let him call the plays. It's going to be
the audibles that he called in the Bears game were the ones that worked.
I just looking at watching Jordan Love play, Jordan Love seems like the kind of guy that likes to let it rip, dude. So I would assume just based off that, I obviously none of us know, like you said, Ken, none of us know, but I would just assume based off of what I've seen from Jordan Love, every time they went deep, it was probably Jordan Love calling an audible, dude. He's like, okay, let's throw it deep, let's throw it intermediate at least. Let's go 15, 20 yards downfield. I don't know. Like, that's not to say that was all of his audibles though. Like,
right. I mean,
I'm sure there were times where he went into a pass play and he's like, oh, I don't like this, and checked it to a run play. Like, I'm sure there's plenty of times.
The flip side. You're right. There is the flip side, but I'm just saying, like, it's something that goes
Yeah, it all goes on the head
When was the
coach.
last time you heard someone talk about it? Like when they're talking about offensive play calling, when was the last time you heard any of these other talking heads or whatnot say, you know what? Have you guys actually looked at how many times the quarterback audibled in that game? Like you
No,
want
they
to
don't
talk
talk about
about
it.
how the OC is failing this, that, or the other, but their quarterback audibled 50% of the play calls. So is it all on the OC? That's the point I'm getting at. It's not necessarily all on that coach. Like the quarterback shares a lot of that blame. And it's not just the quarterback not maybe possibly executing the play that was called properly, because that happens too. But when they start doing the audibles at the line, dude, like we don't talk about it. And look, sometimes you get some audibles where it's just like it's magic and it works, right?
Mhm.
But then you get audibles just like when coaches make play calls that are absolutely horrendous and don't work and maybe even result in a turnover. And guess who gets blamed for that every time? You don't hear about the quarterback getting blamed. It's the OC, the coaching staff should have called something completely different. They're so predictable. Of course they knew we were going to do this screen pass there. Dude, look at rewind the play. There's the quarterback. Kill, kill, kill. We're going to do something different.
Right,
The last
but in
thing-
those situations, the audibles are also preset. So it's like the quarterback does preset the audibles. So it's like if we're going to audible to a run, we do this. If we're going to audible to a pass, we do this. It's not like the quarterback's audibling and picking from like the whole playbook to choose a play.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's the other thing. And if they audible too much and teams pick up on the fact you're audibling and they know exactly what you just said, Broski, predictability. Oh, they're audibling. It's going to be one of three plays. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say it massively just depends on the audible sheet that the quarterback makes up for that specific game.
The last time, the last person that I remember them like where media talking heads actually talked about this person running audibles and basically like changing plays at the line was Tom Brady. Like I remember
Actually-
them saying with Brady, they said it. Oh, Brady saw this. He did. You can tell he didn't like it. He says
Right.
kill, kill, and then like he calls a hot route. Brady did that
And
shit a lot.
Rodgers, LaFleur's first years to basically call
Yeah.
the offense.
The offense, yeah.
But I mean,
Wow,
that's what I'm
breaking
saying.
news.
It's like,
Breaking
What?
news. Green Bay Packers to trade head coach Matt LaFleur to the Las Vegas Raiders for Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
Hell no.
I thought that was real for me until you said
Hell no.
So didn't I. I literally already started pulling up my phone. Fucking broski.
I
You
actually believed him
totally
until
got
he
me with
said
that
Brock
one.
Bowers. I believed him until he said Bowers.
No, I believed him until he said the Raiders. I said there ain't no way in hell that it's going to happen to be two teams that are on this podcast right now.
Yeah. Broski, you mean person, you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
But you know what though? I mean, look, if you're
You got a little excited from that.
if you're Green Bay, like this is a weird thing. Like, look at LaFleur has not been a terrible coach for Green Bay, right?
Not at
Let's
all.
say they make a trade. I mean, we saw this year 3 brand new head coaches make the playoffs. Okay, Green Bay situation, Chicago situation. I would say not completely different, not much different. Like there's a lot of good things that a new head coach in Green Bay would have to work with. Of course, you're gonna have a new OC or DC depending on who you were to trade for, or who your next coach would be. But I would assume, just like the Bears this year, the beginning of that season next year would be a little rough to start, especially. And here's the thing that's the unknown. So the Bears, when they made all their changes, they kept their defensive format pretty much the same, right? The new defensive coordinator played the same base as the last head coach. With Green Bay, if Halfley's out the door, and let's say you bring in another offensive-minded coach, that the new DC, if they change the base, that's going to, kind of create issues initially first part of the season. Whole new playbook. I mean, I think we've seen already with the offenses because, the 3 teams that did well were offensive-minded head coaches, and those teams all grasped the playbook by mid-season pretty well. Look at the Bears past bye week, right? Took them about the first four weeks or so of the season and really grasp the playbook and get a little more consistent with it. I think it would be a net positive for Green Bay, but I could already see Green Bay fans out the box. We're going to win 13 games. Like, dude, realistically, getting the new head coach, you guys might be a playoff team next year, but I don't know if it solves everything that some Packer fans, I'm not going to say all, but there are some, and Ken knows this, that who they are, who would automatically assume, oh, we got this new head coach. We're unbeatable. We're God level. I mean, tell me I'm wrong on that, because I love
if you give me John Gruden, I promise I will be that guy.
I don't think
believe me, I think that's full hopium, and I think the likelihood of that happening is like 1%. But I'm still going for it. It's not zero.
Yeah, it is. You know why? He's still got a court case that, unlike the other one that's waiting for arbitration for Flores, is going to actual trial. He's been fighting the NFL so much, he went to Nevada Supreme Court, state Supreme Court on it. And guess what? The NFL, after that ruling, is still fighting that ruling. Dude, they're going to be another year and going in the NFL trying to get that ruling overturned before they even get close to seeing the inside of a courtroom. I don't think this Gruden case gets done for another 3 years at this point. Gruden's not going anywhere until this lawsuit gets settled. You know what? He's having so much fun with Barstool, opening boxes and doing all the other stuff he's doing. He's in no rush because he knows he's in for a massive payday with the NFL, and that's why he's fighting them and refusing to do arbitration. He's like, no, I'm going to win, and there's going to be this massive settlement, and it's going to be landmark. And guess what? I'm going to make you pay, and I'm going to win on principle. And you know what? He's probably right.
Yeah, Gruden's like, I'll wait 3 years. I have no problem waiting 3 years.
Yeah, no problem. He could have had the Bears job if he wanted it. He could have any job he wants in the NFL. We all know this. Any job he wants in the NFL, he could have. He really could. He's probably one of the few guys you can say that about.
Let's not forget, he signed a 10-year, $100 million contract with the Raiders, and they ended up settling out after like year 3 or 4. So he made $40 million plus whatever they settled for. He's not hurting for money, dude.
No.
Gruden can sit back next to his swimming pool, and he's not worried about it, dude.
If there was anywhere he'd go back, I can think of, like, no questions asked. If there was any team that could call him up today or call him up at any time and say, we want you to coach, there's only one team he would consider, maybe, possibly, not going forward with this court case with. There's only one team. And you know who that one team is? It's the Raiders.
Yeah, it's the Raiders. He definitely still wants. He wants to coach the Raiders.
Green Bay, Chicago, San Francisco, any of the New York teams, any of the LA teams. He's like, nope, the Raiders are his heart and soul.
But I do think Green Bay would be an attractive option for him, though. You have Jordan Love, you have Micah Parsons, you have a chance to win another ring.
For Gruden, that's not the reason, though. For Gruden, it'd be because it's a cornerstone franchise like Chicago, like Green Bay, Chicago, cornerstone franchises. Oh yeah, Gruden would be like, it would be attractive for him for sure. Green Bay, it's not as much about who is there; it's more the fact that it's a cornerstone franchise is why Gruden might see as attractive, or any head coach, because it's like going to Pittsburgh, Chicago, Green Bay, those kinds of places, historic places, those cornerstone franchises. If you can go there and win, you've cemented yourself in history.
Yeah, but also
isn't a coach who's going to turn that down.
But also, Ken, let's think about this. Like John Gruden, as much as John Gruden is a good coach, but he also has an ego. And John Gruden, he thinks of himself as a quarterback whisperer. So you have to know, and to be fair, I mean, look what he did with Derek Carr. Like he turned Derek Carr into a consistent 4,500 yard per season passer. Like I do think that John Gruden would have a part of him that's like, I want to put my stamp on Jordan Love. Like I definitely
think also one of the smartest quarterbacks we've had in the league in the last decade.
Yeah, Derek Carr was, and I think Jordan Love is a smart quarterback too. And I think John Gruden would like to put his stamp on him. He'd like to, I wonder what I could teach this kid. You know what I mean? Like, and can you imagine, like, if you get a guy like John Gruden teaching Jordan Love, like, that might be that missing link to take Jordan Love into like the top 3 conversation instead of the top 5 to 7 conversation, dude.
So let's do this really quick. Let's give in to Steve, who knows the policy and should get some inside scoopage, but never does. So I wonder how much he knows the policy. Yeah, Steve, because you're always wrong, man. No, but
I was going to say,
let's answer his question real quick with the 5 of us now, because at the time he wrote it, there was 4. But Isaac, I guess the IRS isn't collecting taxes. during
Oh, you lost to Broski,
now
so
we're
now
back
there
to
is
force.
four.
Now he's right again. Look at that.
Just the
Broski
jock
made-
tax.
Oh God, we've heard enough of the jock tax on this show.
Yeah. That was 2 years ago. And we're still burnt out. But no, is LaFleur the head coach of Green Bay? What would you handicap the odds at, Ken?
Right now, I'm thinking this bitch is 50-50.
All right, what do you think, Isaac?
Maybe.
Oh, now Isaac has to do someone's taxes. See, these IRS guys, man. I tell you. What do you think, Joe?
Generally, when you start to get rumors like this where there's smoke, there's fire, dude. So I'm going to say it's actually probably closer to a 60 or 70% chance that LaFleur is going somewhere.
I'm just trying to figure out who would trade for LaFleur. Because here's the thing. There are some really damn good coaches out there right now available, right?
Mhm.
So you got to start looking, okay, who's not going to go where? So Baltimore, let's start with them. Obviously, Harbaugh's not going there. Could Stefanski end up in Baltimore? Yeah, I think he could. After that, though, for Baltimore, does LaFleur make sense with Lamar? Yeah, he does. I could see Baltimore as a destination, but I don't know if the trade capital you're going to get back from Baltimore is going to be that great because they're a pretty good team. This year's draft pick will be okay. They missed the playoffs, right? But next year's is going to be crap, probably because they'll probably make the playoffs.
I think it's like to what Joe said. Now is with all these rumors, it's starting to seem like there's a little fire with this smoke.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I think there might be a little fire. There's some interest because, like, look if you're Baltimore now you can add LaFleur into the mix,
And that's
right?
that's the thing. I'm sorry, Ken. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I'm riding with you on this one. Like, I think Baltimore is a good candidate because they could afford to give up the draft capital to get a
Right.
guy like LaFleur because they're already kind of a built team. I mean, they definitely have some needs, but they're not going to have to give up 3 firsts or anything like that, right? Like,
And look at maybe I'm making a mistake because we're looking at just the vacancies in the playoff teams. When Gruden went to Tampa, right? When Gruden went to Tampa, they had a coach who they fired and traded that like back to back. So look at the playoff team or teams still in the playoffs right now. Okay, which of those teams could be suspect to a fire and trade scenario, right? You see what I'm saying? That's where I'm trying to work on this list of where could LaFleur get traded because like you got to go to a team that's kind of like Joe said, somewhat built or already built. So like to me, that takes like Tennessee out of the picture, right? I mean, they're not built.
I'll give you one team that I wouldn't say they're built, but I would say they definitely have some pieces. Arizona. Like, they have some pieces. They have the number 3 overall pick. They're in the market for a quarterback, possibly. Like, I don't know. They're looking to get rid of Kyler Murray. Like, I think Arizona. I don't know if
I don't
LaFleur
think they'd
would
want
be
to give up the
interested.
number 3 pick though if they need a quarterback.
Well,
The
no, I'm not
Ravens-
saying they'll give up the number 3, but I'm saying like they might be willing to give up some draft capital to get a guy like LaFleur.
I see a team
they-
that is picking up a lot of steam is the Falcons.
Actually, I was
Falcons.
gonna say Ivan just said that in the comments as well. That's another one. And Arthur Blank, I think he could possibly because that's another team that's built and underachieved, and they could probably afford to give up the draft capital.
Yeah.
With what they've built, because like that's what I'm saying. Like Joe, your idea of Arizona is not bad. However, if they're looking for a new quarterback, they don't want to give up that number 3 pick because they might need it to get the quarterback.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if LaFleur is worth the number 3 overall pick though. Like, the number 3 overall pick is worth like 2 mid-first round picks.
Yeah,
so.
I was going to say we've seen coaches go for 2 firsts and 2 seconds, as you saw yourself.
Gruden.
So, yeah, and I'm not saying LaFleur is a Gruden, but you could be getting a package somewhere in that realm. Maybe not that full fucking thing, but somewhere in there.
Steelers reunion with Rodgers.
I said that too, Isaac.
Well, I mean, and look, yeah, because it broke that the Steelers and Rodgers kind of have some mutual interest in return. And look, they could probably give up the draft capital, be willing to give up the draft capital to make that trade because they're pretty much built. So that's another team that, in theory, would be good. And look, I think if you're Matt LaFleur, I think that's one of the few teams you'd be like, yeah, okay, because the Steelers, I know I'm going to be good for probably a decade.
Well, why
Right,
not just
so-
if you're going to do that with the Steelers, why not just go coach for coach? I mean, you don't have to give up draft
If
capital. at
Tomlin's
that
going to
point.
take the year off,
Yeah.
Yeah, he says that now, but if all of a sudden he had an opportunity to coach the Packers, like, you think
I
he wouldn't
think-
consider it?
Maybe.
Tomlin would have
let
to.
me think. I
indicate
haven't had a
somehow
quarterback
that-
You know
for
what?
a decade, right?
right
I haven't
now,
had a
Tomlin
quarterback
is
for a
saying-
decade.
But here's the thing, Joe. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you, but here's the thing. Tomlin has to indicate that he's willing to coach, and right now he's indicating to everyone that he's going to take the year off. So, like, if you're Green Bay and you got Tomlin sitting there saying, well, I don't know if I'm going to coach next year, are you going to trade for a guy I mean, how's that trade look? Well, yeah, we're going to trade you Tomlin. Like, okay, we'll make the trade here, have LaFleur. And then Tomlin's like, yeah, I'm still taking the year off.
You know what team could be a dark horse? Don't they still have like 19,000 picks? Dolphins.
I do not think they're a dark horse. That is who I am hearing the rumors to the most is him going to Miami.
That's another
Yeah.
team that makes sense, except that they're in kind of rebuild mode. So, like, they could afford to give up the draft capital, but at the same time, like, they
Yeah,
need that.
they're going to be getting rid of a lot of pieces, of aging pieces there, I think. And you got some guys who, like Tyreek,
Well,
he's going to miss at
let's
least
get
the
up.
first half of the season. They may not ever activate him off the DL because remember they got cap issues there too a little bit. They got a couple players, Chubb and Chubb is another one who's on the DL who may never get activated off the DL because of financial reasons.
I kind of figured Tyreek was on the DL.
All right, but here's another point to the Miami thing. When he came to Green Bay, that roster was pretty much already set. This could be
Yeah.
his chance to craft a roster completely in his image from the start.
Right. LaFleur is still pretty young. I mean, even though he was like the
Mhm.
oldest coach in the playoffs, which is pretty crazy.
I,
but, like,
I don't want
That's
Tyreek,
hilarious.
dude.
I think that's hilarious.
I don't want
man.
Tyreek. Yeah.
Hey, we can. Steve, come on, man. This is why I always say you're wrong, Steve. Well, I don't always say you're wrong, but you say I say you're always wrong. Come on, man.
We don't need any paternity cases in Green Bay.
Hey, I thought it was pretty funny though. Aaron Rodgers took a shot at the Jets when he said, "Oh, I got to play for 2 historic franchises."
Yeah.
If Tyreek goes to Green Bay, he's going to be simultaneously charged with domestic violence and cruelty to animals.
You're an asshole, Joe.
Oh,
man,
it's okay, Isaac, since we live in different states, man.
All right.
Here's the thing, though, too, with LaFleur. Like, he's not a bad coach, and I
Oh,
get
hell
it.
no. Yeah.
I mean, I don't put the blame squarely on him for the lack of division championships, the lack of playoff wins, the last 2 years. It's not all on him. Some of it is on Gutekunst. Some of it's on injuries. Like, honestly, I don't know. It could be a mistake in Green Bay to get rid of Matt LaFleur. It could be a mistake.
It could be.
I'm more
That's-
on the boat.
That's why. Go ahead,
Go ahead,
Isaac.
Ken. No, go ahead, Ken.
That's why I want to replace him if we do with one of the big name type of coaches that has a proven track record, that type of thing.
Okay, let's talk about coach with proven track records. Hey, Joe, how'd the coach with the proven track record do for you this year?
Yeah, not one we pulled out of a nursing home.
You all
It
right?
doesn't, I don't care. Look, it had nothing to do with his football brain.
Yeah, I mean,
Dementia does.
Yeah, there was oatmeal next to his Gatorade and Metamucil, so
Well, that's what I'm saying, Steve. Like, Goody is as much to blame as LaFleur. That's what I was alluding to. And then the other piece is, you can't blame LaFleur that Micah Parsons, gets a season-ending injury with 4 games left, and that defense, while still really good, wasn't as good and gave up
Right.
points.
Look, this
So,
is
I
my
mean,
dream.
And you
This
can
is my-
also blame Goody because, I mean, let's be honest, like Matthew Golden, you had Luther Burden
Yeah.
on the board, and I know it's hindsight. You had Luther Burden on the board, but Matthew Golden is not looking like the same kind of player that Luther Burden is. So
when it comes to
I know
drafting,
he had
I
his
think
game in the
opportunities.
playoffs, right? He had his one game in the playoffs, but
Yeah.
like Come
But
on,
he-
man.
I
Like,
think what it is the lack of opportunities. Green Bay has a pecking order with wide receivers, and if you look at Golden, like even like there's a lot of game tape out there. There's even like some guys that are break it down. Golden is open a lot of times, and he's got great hands. It's just Green Bay is not looking for him out there.
yeah, Jordan
They're-
doesn't throw to him.
yeah,
I get there. There's some smoke to Joe's argument there because Luther Burden
Mhm.
this year in the NFL, he was literally ranked the number
He's a
one
good player.
receiver in the NFL in terms of efficiency, which is like ridiculous for a rookie, right? You'd expect it to be like some wily old vet who's been in the league forever, who just is so efficient at this point. It's sick, but no, it's a rookie. I get that. You guys could have had Luther Burden the third. Instead, you got Matthew Golden, and how'd that work out in year one? Right now, look, I always take 3 years to really evaluate that. But draft picks are always a 50-50. Like we see the hit rates on these guys, and like we see it, we talk about it. Let's be honest, most of the media and the fan base don't even look at that. They're just so knee-jerk reaction, and they don't wait the 3 years. They used to, but kind of like everything else in our media now, it's a knee-jerk. Well, this is what it is. Well, no, it's not. Give them the 3 years.
but
I
keep,
mean,
keep in mind also.
where Goody's drafted bad, and I go back to like why to Steve there. Like Goody needs to be held accountable because why hasn't he been drafting offensive linemen? Why haven't they been signing in the trenches? Why haven't they fixed the secondary? Why hasn't Goody addressed these other needs? And that's where Goody needs to be held somewhat accountable as well. As if you're going to hold Matt LaFleur for bad play calling, which he's probably had an audible rate of 50% from Jordan Love. Like there's a lot of people to hold accountable in Green Bay for their lack of playoff success the last 2 years. I mean, look,
I kind of get why we didn't address the secondary because the Parsons deal. We're paying him the highest money. Even like
and I
at
can,
a
I can
nine
go with
quarterback.
that. That makes some sense.
And then yeah, I mean, and then this is the year like we kind of accumulate money, encapsulate money because remember we just came off of contracts from Bakhtiari and Rodgers that just handicapped us cap wise, and then paying Parsons all that money almost put us in the same boat if we spent a bunch of money on fixing the secondary.
Well,
So
and
I
don't you have
think
some
that
other
what's
guys
going
you
on.
spend on this year, like Rashawn Gary? Isn't Rashawn Gary due money and some other guys?
Rashawn Gary might very well
Well,
end up being cut.
Gary's the candidate cut. 19
Wow.
million. We get 19 million if we cut Sean Gary. But
That's crazy.
but yeah, I mean, we got situations like that where we have to spend different money on different parts of the roster that it didn't make sense to just spend more money
Hold on, we have
on
breaking
fixing
news.
some of the other issues.
Breaking news: Green Bay lost because of Steve.
God
Broke
damn
the
it,
year for-
Steve!
Damn it, Steve. Hey,
Look,
but
I
no,
think
this is my dream
it's
scenario.
funny how Green Bay has to keep itself front and center of the playoff conversation, even though they're out of it. But I mean, look, I think it might be somewhat of a mistake for them to trade away LaFleur. I think they've got a good
Yeah,
coach up there, and it's not.
Yeah, this is
and
my dream scenario.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Ken.
All right,
No, go ahead there, Isaac.
go ahead.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. This is my dream scenario. If we're gonna keep LaFleur, we need to fire, Stenovich. Even though I love Stenovich, because he fixes our offensive line issues, or even demote him, and we hire a guy like Mike McDaniels, who's from the Shanahan system, that they used to run even with the Commanders. Mike McDaniels was part of the special teams coordinators with the Redskins at that time, So they basically run the same system, which is a great fit. Mike McDaniels is a pretty good, offensive. He keeps it fresh with plays.
No,
And
no, not allowed to
on
happen.
top of that,
Because no, Isaac, because I like Mike McDaniels. I like his press conferences. I like the guy.
He's definitely going to be a
I gotta
pass.
hate him. No, it's not allowed, man. He's too likable of a guy to go to Green Bay.
I don't want
No,
him to go to the
he
Lions.
Well,
well, which called
The
And we
only
gotta
way
fire
I'll give
Rich
you
and
that
send
is
him
to
back
give
to the
us Al
Raiders.
Harris back.
Honestly, though, like
right?
the only head coach out there who you might say I could I trade away, trade him away, and I get draft picks, and I hire another coach. To me, it's Harbaugh. is about the only one I'd be willing to do that for. As much as I like Stefanski and the other guys, like Harbaugh is the only one with the pedigree where you go, that makes sense to get rid of LaFleur in a trade to get him.
Supposedly the
I mean-
rumor is if LaFleur doesn't get his contract extension, Harbaugh wants to jump on the Green Bay job.
But I don't like Harbaugh to Green Bay. I don't think that it's. I don't know. I just don't see that. I don't
he's
see
getting
that.
poached, Bill. He's getting poached. He's going to get a head coaching job possibly somewhere, I think.
I think Green Bay needs an offensive mind that's not Matt LaFleur. Like I personally, I think McDaniel makes sense, a lot of sense for
Joe,
Green Bay.
I'm with you.
No, because I like him too much.
Look at what he,
Not
yeah,
allowed.
but look at what he was able to do with Tua and that offense that he had down there. Now imagine that
Yeah.
with Jordan Love. Like,
No,
Yeah.
I look at on the analysis piece, Joe. I agree with you. I mean,
yeah, I know it's purely personal, and I
It's
understand
purely
that. but-
personal, man. I like the guy too much. I mean, how dare Green Bay get a likable coach? No, it's easy to hate Matt LaFleur with his little, I don't know what that haircut is, trying to look like Pat Riley and being all swarmy and you mad now? Fuck you. Fuck that guy. I can't do that to McDaniel because he's just like so chill and like his press conference is pure gold. I can't stand Green Bay having a likable coach. No, LaFleur is easy to hate. Let him have a coach that's easy to hate.
I remember McDaniel he's blowing out a team and he went in the stands and had a fan call a play.
Yeah, I mean, catching a vape in the middle of a play, come on, man. I can't let Green Bay have a cool coach like that, man. No.
Or his press conference is like, what are you going to do in the offseason? He's like, I don't know, play with my Legos.
It's like if he's in the press conference and he's got the little bullet snooter, he's like,
That's quite a query there, Steve. I mean, I'm surprised only 7. I'm sure every Bears fan would pretty much say, yeah, go to the Big Ten. I mean, come on. I mean, look at, and then that's the other piece is like, there's 2 pieces to this, right? There's one, who's Green Bay going to get to be the replacement? And 2, if they're trading LaFleur, who's me willing to pay for it? And I think Pittsburgh, and Bill makes a good comment there with like, hey, look, the people they got there. Now, that means possibly an Aaron Rodgers reuniting with him, and I don't know if that's on his bucket list or his checklist, and Joe's already shaking his head, probably not. But that place makes sense, and of course Atlanta makes sense. But then if you're Green Bay, you might want to trade him out of the conference too. That's the other piece, right? You might want to trade him to an AFC team so you limit your having to face LaFleur thing. So you're not facing him like if you go to Atlanta, you might face him every year.
I don't want LaFleur to go to Tennessee because that place seems like it's a black hole that's just going to suck for a while.
That's where he came from. I mean,
Cam
ownership
Ward is actually.
might be willing.
I think Cam Ward has potential, man. If they could get some decent coaching in there, and they're going to need a couple more drafts, but I don't think Tennessee is stuck in a black hole. I'm not going to give up on this Arizona thing though, because if you look at the draft order, right, the Jets draft too, and there's a lot of talk about Dante Moore, like if he does decide to come out, and Oregon just signed another quarterback, so there's a decent chance that Dante Moore comes out. And the Jets, I've been reading the Jets subreddit a lot. They do not want Dante Moore at all.
Well, if the Jets kind of owe the Packers for the Rodgers trade a little bit. So I mean, I could see maybe the Jets and then LaFleur's career can end. I mean, that's fine with me.
No, but what I'm saying is, if Arizona doesn't take Moore at 2, which I think there's a really good chance that they won't because he's going to need to sit a year. That leaves it wide open at 3, and Arizona could actually sit him a year because they could just play Jacoby Brissett, and LaFleur would have an opportunity to develop Dante Moore. And Dante Moore, as much as Fernando Mendoza is being touted in this draft class, that people are loving Fernando Mendoza, a lot of people actually think Dante Moore has a higher ceiling, just a lower floor.
Hey Joe.
So,
he's a little overrated to me.
Hold on. Hey, Joe. Just read that really quick, and I got the response. Let me know when you've read. I've got your response ready already. You ready?
Yes,
How dare you talk about the Death Star like that, Bill?
it's a nice stadium, whether you like the Raiders or not. And honestly, I mean, we have to see what the Raiders do at head coach. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, we're back," but I really would like to see them hire Davis Webb. I got asked this question earlier in the show. I really would like to see them hire Davis Webb, either as an offensive coordinator or as head coach. But I would prefer offensive coordinator and get a more, But if head coach is the only way we could get him, I'm willing to take a shot. Like, let him work with Mendoza. I mean, we've gone the traditional veteran coach route a lot of times already, and why not take a chance on a young guy? The last time we did that was John Gruden, and it turned out pretty good for us.
That's how the NFL is going too.
I mean, it'll be
young
interesting
coaches.
if LaFleur gets traded. But like I said, I think this LaFleur trade notion, while not unreasonable, is very complicated because the team it's got to be a team that, if like when you look when Tampa did it, right? They were ready to win a Super Bowl, and that was the piece they felt. Well, Dungy is not going to get us there, and we got to get a guy who's going to get us there. And Gruden, I don't know why Davis ever agreed to trade Gruden, but he did stupidly. And then the next year, boom, Gruden beats the Raiders in the Super Bowl. Like that, to me, as a Raiders fan, that's still the dumbest trade the Raiders ever made. But and then you look, okay, what other coach have been traded recently? Well, Sean Payton. But at the time when Payton was traded, Payton didn't. What was the trade compensation for Sean Payton? Because he had been out of football for years, so it wasn't as good, but it was still there.
It was like a first round pick.
Yeah, but they had their quarterback drafted, and they had that coming, and so you've got that. So if I look at LaFleur, it's like, okay, what teams meet the criteria where they don't need a quarterback or they don't need some big massive pieces that are close. It's a harder fit. Like we said, Baltimore, Atlanta both come to mind. And then you're like, okay, then who's Green Bay going to get? And it could be Harbaugh. It could be McDaniel. But then you're saying, like, for McDaniel, it's kind of, I don't know, I find it weird that the Packers would trade LaFleur away to get McDaniel. To me, that just doesn't sound right. Harbaugh sounds like more realistic. But,
yeah,
and Sean, it's because you guys have to be the center of the universe and always do something in the news to make sure that we're talking about the Packers. I mean,
well, LaFleur, trading for Mike McDaniel doesn't make sense because you're getting the same guy. You get the same Shanahan system, same thing.
That's what I'm saying,
You know what I mean? Yeah. So, that's why I'm saying if it's a scenario where Mike McDaniels becomes our OC, then I can see it because then LaFleur can work with him because they run the same system, But
I don't even like him as your OC. I mean, seriously, look, you're right. They run the same system. I mean, the only difference is the guy calling the play is different. But I think, he makes more sense for Detroit than he does Green Bay. Because you got an offensive minded head coach. Why are you going to hire a good OC like that when you've already got an offensive mind?
Well,
I think LaFleur is a good offensive mind. I think, he's got a good DC. LaFleur I think fans are looking at blame LaFleur. Like, dude, you had some injuries that kind of changed the way your season went, and your quarterback. Maybe you got to look at Jordan Love, who you're paying $55 million, and say maybe LaFleur needs to go, hey, you can't audible like that all the time. You're not free to change everything like you have been. I think some of the play calling falls on Jordan Love too.
Here's the thing: is even when we're healthy, LaFleur has a tendency to get conservative. We saw it in that second half versus the Bears, where he was just calling run plays up the middle, for first through third down. You got to mix it up. You know what I mean? I think someone that's in his mind, let's give an example. Remember when Hackett was our offensive coordinator? He got in a room with Aaron Rodgers and LaFleur and said, hey, let's plan out our game plan through the year. And it worked out great. I think LaFleur needs someone like that. Hey, let's get in the fucking game planning room with Jordan Love and plan out how the season's gonna go, and it'll make everything better.
Oh man.
You want to know what's funny about that comment? Is the state that has the most rate of, the most rate of incest is Michigan.
You brought it back up.
Mhm.
Oh, dude.
See, I mean, well, you know what, Ivan? That's true. Brissett did play pretty well, but
Right.
I don't
And
know. That, I
so
mean,
I think Ivan agrees with me like that. It wouldn't be a terrible place for LaFleur to go. Like,
I don't
you
think
know,
LaFleur is
you have
going
the
anywhere.
number 3 overall pick. You have Brissett that you can start for a year while you try to either groom more, or you can pass on more, get an elite player at number 3, and then go next year, go into the draft and look for your quarterback, because it's going to be probably Arch Manning's class. Like,
Mhm.
you know,
I
I'm,
really don't think LaFleur is going anywhere, to be honest with you. I
mm.
mean,
I'm-
look, I get that you guys just lost the playoff game to us. You lost 2 out of 3 to us. I get it. There's a knee-jerk reaction, and this is it. And I think I'm hoping for your sake, Steve Policy doesn't give in to that knee-jerk reaction, because honestly, I think it's a mistake for them to trade LaFleur at this point. Like, I
yeah.
think you're better off giving LaFleur another year and then see if you want to extend him. I mean, he's been a good coach for you guys overall. You know, yes, in the LaFleur Love era, no division championships, 1 playoff win, got it. That might not all be LaFleur. Some of that has to be on Love too. Love did play a good playoff game against the Bears. Yes, he had an opportunity to win the game and he failed. Right. So I mean, it's not like it's all LaFleur. Um, I think it's a knee jerk reaction, and Green Bay needs to feel important and stay in the news cycle. Honestly, I there might be a little smoke, and I'd kick the tires on it too. And why not? I mean, you know, there's some possibilities out there. Look, if I could get like a head coach that would be just as good or better than what I've got, right? And I can get a couple first round picks for it to do that, I would kick the tires on it too and send up some smoke signals as well. Right. So if I think I can get Harbaugh and I can trade LaFleur to, I don't know, the Steelers for 2 first rounders, I would kick tires too. Don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
But I don't know. There are so many good head coaches in the marketplace right now. I don't know if they have the market for it as much as Packer fans might think, because Stefanski and Harbaugh, the guy that you'd want to replace your guy with, are out there and available for these teams to talk to too. So until some of these other guys maybe come off the board or come out, if Harbaugh comes out and says, you know, I really want to coach Green Bay, and makes that more apparent, it makes it harder.
I'm sorry, Joe. I think Dante Moore is overrated. I mean, maybe coaching can make him better,
why are you
but like
apologizing to me? I don't have a
I know,
poster of the
because
dude on my
you
wall
mentioned
or
him like
anything.
5 times now. Like that's what I'm saying.
Well, because
Uh,
he's the projected number 2 quarterback in the draft. That's why.
yeah, I know, because the quarterback class is not even that strong.
You
I
can't
mean,
trade for Stefanski who's
Mendoza,
fired.
Yeah,
yeah,
Stefanski was fired. You can't trade for him. You just have to hire him outright.
yeah. I mean, and then the idea of him going to the Jets, I wouldn't want to go to the Jets if I was Dante Moore. Look how many quarterbacks have failed being with the Jets, and there's
LaFleur to Cleveland.
nobody to develop anybody on the Jets. You know, it's
You know,
like,
let's think about that real quick. LaFleur to Cleveland.
uh, you know what? I mean, Shador, you know, maybe coaching up Shador could help, because LaFleur was a quarterback's coach. And remember, he's coached up a lot of quarterbacks, so it could work, but I don't
Got
know.
Miles
It's kind
Garrett.
of shaky. Browns
There's things to like. There's
always,
things to like about Cleveland. Like they have the number 6 overall pick. I think they have an additional first round pick this year. You got Miles Garrett. You got a pretty good defense. You need some
Well,
help.
guys, we're about out of time. Actually, we are out of time because we got less. We're in that under a minute part. Look, we're not going to talk about teams not in the playoffs for Green Bay tomorrow, because we have actual teams that still are playing football, like Chicago and
Yeah, unless we do get a
Los
trade.
Angeles and New England, like teams that still have a shot at winning the Super Bowl this year, that we're going to talk about tomorrow and Friday, because
Hey, Ken,
we have
Emma
playoff
Maniac.
games this weekend. Green Bay, we'll keep following this coaching situation in Green Bay and some of these other ones. Unless something major moves over, we will probably wait till next week to talk about it some more. Tomorrow we'll start talking about some actual teams that still have a chance at one of those behind me on Lombardi. Everyone have a great day. Keep following that news wire.
Matt LaFleur, you're an Arizona Cardinal.
We'll see you tomorrow.